A glimpse into the traditions and symbolism surrounding the Papa's funeral. Let's take a look at what is inside Pope Francis' coffin. The outer wooden coffin is adorned with a cross, and the coat of arms of Pope Francis was closed as part of the preparation for the funeral rites. His face is covered in a white silk veil, a rich tradition that symbolizes his humanity and humility. This practice is rooted in Eastern Church funeral rites for priests, where a veil used to cover the chalice and paten would be placed on the deceased priest's face. The clothes covering the chalice and paten held liturgical significance, symbolizing the face of Christ. By covering the priest's face, it represented both God's strength and protection, and the tomb of Christ, ultimately expressing belief in the resurrection. Rogito, a deep roll up inside a metal cylinder, and seal is a document summarizing the life and works of the Pope, recalling his life and his most important works, for which we give thanks to God the Father. Coins. The bag with coins is a symbolic gesture where each coin represents 1 year of Pope Francis' 12 years papacy. This tradition is a way to commemorate and honor the Pope's tenure, with the coin serving as a tangible representation of his time in it. The interior lining. The interior lining is made out of zinc to preserve the coffin's integrity, whilst the outer casket will biodegrade. The inner lining will remain intact for many more years, which was closed and sealed. Across Pope Francis' coat of arms and a plaque with his papal name, the length of his life, 8 years, 4 months, and 4 days, and the length of his pontificate, 12 years, 1 month, and length and 8 days, was visible on the outside of the zinc coffin. What happens to the Pope's body when he dies? After a Pope's death, the Catholic Church enters sede vacant, meaning the seat being vacant. The period which marks the transition between popes, including a series of steps directed by the Order Exquiram Romans Pontifices, outlining papal funeral rites. According to the Catholic News Agent's 2024 edition of the official liturgical book, states that after the death of a pope, the body is examined and preserved to so public viewing and can be carried out with the greatest decorum. What else is placed in the coffin? According to Radon, this inner coffin traditionally includes coins made during the Pope's reign and Rogito history of his key acts written on parchment paper and placed in a brass or metal tube, along with death certificates. Other symbolic items include the Pope's mitre, pastoral staff, broken ring, and rosary are also placed in the inner coffin. Where are popes buried? Most popes, more than 90, include John Pope II and Pius VII, are buried in the Vatican grottos under the St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. However, some are buried in other Roman churches, including Pope Francis, who requested to be buried in the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome, the resting place of 7 other popes. He is the first pope since Leo VIII in 1903 not to be buried in the Vatican. Around 30 popes are buried outside of Rome, including 6 in France, where the papacy moved to have gone between 1309 and 1377. Francis was the 266th Pope. His memory remains in the hearts of the Church and of all humanities. George Mario Baglio, elected Pope on 13th March 2013, was born in Buenos Aires on 17 December 1936 to Montes immigrants. His father Mario was an accountant employed by the Air Railways, while his mother Regina Sivor took care of the home and the education of their 5 children. After earning a diploma as chemical technician, he chose the path of the priesthood, entering first the Diocesan Seminary and on 11th March 1958 passing to the Novitiate of the Society of Jesus. He pursued humanistic studies in Chile and returning in 1963 to Argentina, graduated in philosophy at the San Giuseppe College in San Miguel. He was a professor of literature and psychology at the colleges of the Immaculate Conception in Santa Fe and of the Xavier in Buenos Aires. He received priestly ordination on 13 December 1969 from Archbishop Ramon Jose Castellano, and on 22 April 1973 he made his perpetual profession in the Jesuits after serving as novice master at Villa Barilar in San Miguel, professor in the Faculty of Theology, a consulate of the Argentina province of the Society of Jesus, rector of the college. On 31st July 1973, he was appointed provincial of the Results of Argentina. After 1986, he spent several years in Germany completing his doctoral dissertation, and once back in Argentina, Cardinal Antonio Corancino made him his close collaborator. On 20th May 1992, Pope John Paul II named him titular Bishop of Oca and Auxiliary Bishop of Buenos. He chose as the episcopal motto Miserando et Elegendo and inserted the Christogram IH as symbol of the Society of Jesus into his coat of arms. On 3rd June 1997, he was promoted coadjutor Archbishop of Buenos, and upon Cardinal Corancino's death, succeeded him on 28th February 1998 as Archbishop, Primate of Argentina, Ordinary for the Faithful of Eastern Rites, residing in the country, and Grand Chancellor of the Catholic University. John Paul II created him a cardinal in the consistory of 21st February 2001, assigning him the title of Saint Roberto Bellarmino. That October, he served as Adjunct General Rapporteur of the 10th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops. He was simply much beloved pastor in his archdiocese, traveling everywhere even by subway and bus. He lived in an apartment and prepared his own dinner because he felt one of the people from the Cardinals' Assembly in concoctive after Benedict VI's resignation. He was elected Pope on 13th March 2013 and took the name Francis IV, following the examples of Saint Francis of Assisi.